Welcome back to FastMonty's Garage. Today we're converting the nipples on my brand new LS style radiator to size 20 AN lines using AutoPlumb's very unique Weld Less adapter. They work because I already have them on the GTO, and if you're brand new, welcome. I restored the 69 GTO you see behind me, and in doing so I fell in love with Army Navy fittings because one, if you do it right, they don't leak. Two, it makes it very easy to change lines and remove components, etc. That's why it's all over aircraft back in the day, hence Army Navy fittings. And number three, it looks completely badass. I mean, look at my engine compartment. It's just popping, right? So depending on what you like to do, hey, go to town. I'm going to show you how to do it the right way. So that reminds me, if I've ever helped you out, consider getting a hat, shirt. Links are below, even the full Monty Club down there. And subscribe if you haven't, because like I said, there is a radiator test coming up soon where I'm replacing a standard old school radiator where the inlet's on this side. It's called the cross flow. Water comes down, through, down, and out, versus an LS. It's dual pass. Water comes in, gets forced along the top, comes around, back down. Twice as much contact through the radiator, but does that cool more? I don't know. We're going to test it. So subscribe. Now let's get it on. There's two ways to convert nipples on your large diameter radiators or on the inlet side on your engine or outlet side on your engine. Now we're going to cover that too today, but what I used on my motor. But one way is lopping off the nipple and using an aluminum fitting and weld it on there. Well, that's fine and dandy if you're really good at aluminum welding. Most of us are not, including myself. So when I found the AutoPlumb solution, where we actually use RTV, it's a compression style fitting, it works great. Now, the next question is, how great does it work, Mike? Well, I've had it on my old radiator for over 3 years. I've driven from San Diego to Reno in the dead heat of summer. No issues, no leaks. I love it. So let's jump to it. Let me show you what you have to measure here so you can take that measurement, go to AutoPlumb's website, and order the correct fitting. Let's go. All right, for starters, the way this is gonna work, it's gonna be a compression fitting. You're gonna have an O-ring that fits behind this bead on the outlet tube or inlet tube, and it's gonna pull against the bead. So we have to get a measurement, and the measurement needs to be behind the bead. I highly recommend getting calipers, get a good measurement back there, maybe measure a couple times. So I'm at a little over 1.5 inches, and then we jump over to AutoPlumb's website and we find what size we have, and that's the fitting to order. Here's the bag it comes in, and you can see on the front the range of fittings we just talked about, and make sure you got the right one. Now we can open it up. Nice little tight package, and you're going to see some grip tape in here that's rolled up. This is used to apply on the outside temporarily so we can tighten it up. It also can be used to remove these. These are actually removable, but inside here, so if you unscrew this, you're going to see the rubber O-ring I told you about. So you can take that out. And one side has a bevel edge and one side is flat. Keep that in mind. And we also have a washer. What's going to happen is we're going to put this on over the bead. But in my case, since we're going to tighten it up against the bead like that, we need to make sure, at least I need to make sure, that RTV is going to stick to this. This is actually Cerakote. I Cerakoted my radiator. So I'm going to rough that up with some Scotch-Brite to that depth right there. So you won't see any roughness past that point. So I'm going to go ahead and put masking tape on here and then pull this off and rough it up. The funny thing about Cerakote, nothing likes to stick to it. Like I can't even barely get the tape to stick. That's why I want to rough it up. Nice and etched up. There's a couple things to note before we get started. Test fit your fitting on the end, it's going to sit just like that. So that inside lip is going to rest on this edge. And when we're done tightening it, you want to look down inside to make sure it's still flush against that edge, because sometimes it will push itself off and come over that lip and you don't even know it, and you're going to have a problem. So pay attention to that. Now take the collar and put the grip tape on it all the way around and get some scissors and cut off that extra. You don't have to, but I like it better than this overhanging piece for the next step. I highly recommend you get an AN wrench or two from AutoPlumb. The reason is we're going to need it for this next step. It fits this end perfectly, and the other end fits the nut of the hose connector perfectly, or this fatter end fits the nut, right? I had no idea they were different. Both size 20. It's gonna get messy. Get yourself some Ultra Black. I love these little tubes because you waste less if you don't use the whole thing. I'm also using this hose assembly lube throughout this whole process, so anytime you see me use some kind of oil, this is what it is. Okay, collar, flat side down or towards the radiator. Okay, lube up that washer. You can use the same oil I just showed you or your favorite grease. It is only just to tighten it up. It doesn't have to last forever. And then you might need to snake it around that bead. Just like that. Have it sit down in the collar. Use your favorite wax and grease remover or acetone or mineral spirits and clean off all that grease or oil that might have been left behind from the washer we just put on. Now we're going to coat the heck out of this washer with our RTV. Inside and out. Once you're covered, remember the beveled side points up and out. Slide it on. I'm going to go just past the bead, and then make sure you have that rest of that bead nice and covered with the excess. Now the fun begins. Yeah, I love gloves. Just take them off. Now hand tighten the collar. And this whole time I'm pushing down. Granted, I'm on my workbench, but if you're in the car doing this, you got to make sure this is staying flush with the end of the nipple that I showed you guys earlier. Now that it's getting tight, this is when the fun begins. You're gonna have to get your favorite strap wrench. And then hold the fitting with the wrench. You want to keep going until you have almost about 50 thousandths of an inch between the collar and the fitting, and I'm about there. You do not have to over tighten it. But make sure you're square, and remember that lip I told you guys to look down in here, or at least feel around, and make sure you're the same distance from the end of the nipple to that shoulder inside the fitting. I think we're good. We can take our grip tape off. You can use acetone or lacquer thinner to clean off any residue. And I got some Ultra Black off right there. Now we wait 24 hours. Next step, let me show you how to do a hose end on a size 20. I might have forgotten to mention, you can put oil on the thread before you put the collar on. Just keep that in mind in case it's too tight for you or feels too tight. And if you didn't notice yet and you haven't gone to AutoPlumb.com, it is chock full of resources. This is where you also get your hose. So this is size 20. They also have size 16, -16, and you can also get your fittings. So that's a straight fitting. They have templates for angled fittings, 15 degree, 30 degree, 45 degree, 60 degree. And it's very critical that you measure it right with the template before you buy your fittings, so you can mock up those templates in your car, measure your hose length and everything. It's really neat. Now, moving to the vise. If you've never done AN hoses before, you really need to get some type of holder to put in a vise right there that holds the nut of the fitting or the tube end. Now, on the same website, you can get these oversized, where'd my thing go? It's oversized for these bigger nuts to put on the hose end. So I'm gonna go put this in the vise. Let's get to work. Yeah, I just remembered another tip. On the same website, you can get a hose wrap to help you cut, especially if you have nylon braided hose. It's almost like cellophane tape. You can use cellophane actually. Wrap it tight, then wrap athletic tape or some kind of very strong tape around it, and then use a bandsaw. For smaller hoses, I have a dedicated hose shear to give you nice clean cuts. So then when you take the tape off, the cellophane barrier prevents pulling all the threads off the nylon. Yeah, it's frustrating if you've never done it before. Now, the hard part is getting the nut on the tube. You can leave the tape on. I take the tape off because there's teeth inside here that grab. It's like a barbed tooth that grab on, and it's gonna be difficult. So what I do is I bang it on a piece of 4x6 on the floor until it's fully seated against the shoulder in here. So I'll show you when I'm done what it looks like. Here's an example of that clear tape I was telling you about, or the cellophane. No fray, much easier. Ooh, a little bit of a workout. You can see the hose is all the way against that shoulder of the thread in there. That was full body weight of me pushing down on my piece of wood, and then when it got to about 3/16 to 1/4 inch away, I had to start banging it on the wood, and it finally got there. Now when you cinch it up in your vise, you want to be as close to the end of the grips as possible, but don't go within that frame because you need room for your wrench to go around here. It'll make sense in a second. And you can cinch it down. You don't have to be super tight about it. Now here's an angled fitting, which I use on the other end of the hose. I want to show it off for you. Might as well install it now, but go ahead and oil up the whole area, and also check out how deep it goes in the hose, and pre-lube the inside of the hose as well. It's okay to be generous. You can use grease if you want. So the reason we pre-lube the hose is the hose will scrape the grease or the oil off of here by the time you get to hair, and then the rest of the hose doesn't have any grease on it and it makes it difficult. I'll show you in a second. Now that tapered end has to go inside that rubber ID, and then you can by hand get the thread started. Just pay attention. If it binds up suddenly, that means you're cross threading, so stop and start over. Looks like I got it on the first try. That's good. Okay, get the biggest wrench you can. Start going to town. It's gonna be a workout towards the end here. Oh man. Almost there. Don't have to go all the way and hit the nut. And if you have a hard time, you can heat up with a heat gun the nut. Do not heat up the hose because that's nylon, you'll burn the nylon. But you can heat up the nut, and that'll soften the rubber on the hose and help you get the further distance. So I just have a little bit more to go to line up the flats, and I'm good. Oh yeah. I mentioned pre-lubing the hose. I did the other end with the straight fitting. You see that dip? It's almost 3/8 of an inch where it pushed the hose out because I didn't pre-lube the hose as an experiment, or the side we just did. Much better. Now it still moved a little bit, maybe up to 3/16 of an inch. So if you're cutting a really short hose piece, like I did on my lower, a radiator hose, that's a big deal. So pre-plan a little bit of stretch there to reduce your hose length on short runs, because if you're over by a quarter of an inch, your fittings won't fit. Yeah, ask me how I know. Let's talk engine side now. So everyone has a thermostat housing, and before you get going, make sure you check AutoPlumb's website, because they have thermostat housings that have AN fittings already built in on them, one piece. That's exactly what you want. Now, for those of you with obscure engines like my Pontiac, you're gonna have to get a little more creative, and AutoPlumb can help you out there too. So this is what I use. It's an RPC swivel adapter on my Pontiac block. And if you go to AutoPlumb's website, Aeroflow has these little adapters. Let me show you how they work. All right, I kept it in the package just to keep my parts together, but this swivels. That's why they call it a swivel. So the one in the car is identical to this. When I go to convert the radiator over, it's pointed in this direction because of the old cross-flow radiator. I can swivel it over here, and now I can run it to the LS version. That's the plan. But I also want to change the color. That's besides the point, right? I get it. So this actually unscrews. Bitchin', right? The answer is yes. Unless you're wondering, you just screw the other one back in. And now we have an AN fitting on my swivel. Badass. Oh, how do you like them apples? I like them very much. That's pretty awesome. I can't wait to paint that black to match the anodized. So I'm gonna contact Cerakote and see what they recommend for black, and if I need to clear coat it or not, etc. The other thing, the cool thing about fittings like this end that push the hose out maybe a little too much, you can actually start over. You can remove the fittings, cut the hose again, and do it again. So buy some extra hose. You can reuse the fittings. You cannot reuse the hose where you already did the press fit. So you have to cut that end off. Another thing, I haven't been to AutoPlumb yet, they have another fitting on there that is pretty neat. It converts barbed fittings to AN fittings. So if you have like a 3/8 inch barb, you can put this adapter on there and it turns it to an AN line. That's pretty cool. I can't do a video about that because I have no more barb fittings on the car. Sorry. Now, one other thing you might be thinking of is what's happening with flow on a hose, because you just maybe reduced your 1.5 inch diameter or 2 inch diameter radiator hose. Well, something to keep in mind is water still has to get through this. Yeah, your thermostat. So there's still plenty of room to get fluid through. Don't freak out. It'll be fine. And we're obviously going to prove that point, at least get some measurements for flow between the two radiators in a future episode. So subscribe if you haven't. And until next time, build them fast, drive them faster. See ya.